Good morning, everybody, or good afternoon, actually. Can you guys see me and can you hear me right now? Because having a bit of trouble with these iPod things today for some reason. Not quite sure why. Hope everyone's doing well today. No specific plan. Thank you, Coffee. I appreciate that. Um, no specific agenda today. I'm kind of going to do what I've always done on the Sunday afternoons when I can do them. Just going to roll some news articles and whatnot. I do want to put some specific attention to. You guys probably saw my post on YouTube on the community page last night. In the last week, I must have gotten about 10 damn Amber Alerts. A couple of them were custodial issues, but the other ones were missing teens. They found the young lady here. Sadly, she's no longer with us. She was 22, and now there's a 35-year-old teacher has gone missing, and nobody knows. She just didn't show up to the school in the middle of the school week, so it wasn't like she was out partying and never came home. So some weird things going on, and from what I'm hearing, it seems to be everywhere. People are just battling this stuff across the country. So you guys be safe. And Joe, I'm doing what I do every Sunday. Contemplate pendejo gate. There you go. And I thought you said my novel, but that was naval. So well, let's say good morning to everybody. Hello, Mary. Mary gets the first message of the day award. Hey, Joe. Royal Lioness. Hello, hello. Magic. Um, Carpenter, welcome, welcome. I'm glad to see you this morning. Ola Coffee. Oh, Magic again. Hey, Dominic. Buongiorno. How are you today, my friend? And KP Heathen, my friend from Louisiana. I'm still missing the boudin. I used to pick it up whenever I'd travel to New Orleans for work on the way back to Houston. It wasn't in Lafayette. There was a place in Lafayette, but there was a place outside of Lake Charles. God, I can't remember where it was. And they do the boudin and crackers, and I just put them in a little, an igloo, and I take them home, and then we eat them there. But hey, Daryl Calhoun, welcome. And who else? Oh, Mary again. Oh, thanks for the 5x5. I appreciate that. Navi, sneaking in for a moment. I appreciate it. You're gonna have a busy weekend with all the folks traveling around. And hey, kitten, what's going on? So yeah, a lot of bizarre stuff. Now, on a more positive note, they will have a lot of events all over the country commemorating our veterans or service members who did not come home. For those of you who may confuse the two Memorial Days, where we celebrate the people who sadly have fallen in the service to the country, as opposed to Veterans Day, which is people who have served who are still here. So folks, well-meaning, tend to confuse them, and but just in case anyone's been about to be destroyed, yeah, well, they're trying real hard. Um, I have to swing by the store and get something. You know what, God? I just reheated some. I had some leftover. We did turkey meat tacos, which were turned out to be really good with the seasoning I used. So I was just finishing those up as my. Hey, my mother Spark, welcome, welcome. Uh, yeah, stand strong, y'alls. Yeah, definitely, definitely. So good, good. I'm glad you're doing well today, Dominic. It's been a yeah. Well, okay. So the video I made regarding the soup was actually recorded over a month ago, and I never posted it. And I had put a few other videos, so that was when I got the Rona a few months ago. Actually, it wasn't a new Rona. Although I'll be honest, I could probably use a couple of good nights sleep without having to get up super early. I still love it now. I can't stand it anymore. I think everything's changed, honestly, coffee. But I am doing good, thank you. Yeah, I think everything's changed in some way, shape, or form. It's been a bizarre year, honestly. So yeah, but I was gonna do most thing don't discuss it. Pretty much, and then we get fixated on that 5% we don't agree on because the media uses it to perpetuate angst. Because the more news we watch, the more commercials we see, the more money and dollars get exchanged round and round. So it's been Jackson's been in a relatively good mood today. Bentley got busted because he decided that the arts and crafts room was a place to find toys, specifically plush animals and other such things, and was trying to run off with them. And he got busted, and so now he's in the bed of shame, sitting there, kind of trying to look pitiful. But we all know he's not. He's not sorry at all. He just sorry he got caught. So that's a good deal. Magic. I'll tell you what. I lost about. This was a few years ago now, but I'd been in college. I was kind of a chubby kid. I lost a lot of weight in college because we were always running around, and I was always basically running around, and I was on a liquid diet because that's what engineers did apparently in undergrad. But I gained weight. You know, when you have a family, you just put on weight, and I got to where it was affecting my health. I cut a few things and just changed my exercise routine. And I lost 30 pounds. I'll tell you what, my knee doesn't hurt me. My knees don't hurt me as much. The back. Now it's more the challenge of maintaining. But yeah, man, anything you lose that you don't need is good for sure. Matt Shad throwing the bacon at people today. Uh, Greetings from the Eureka. I only eat food. I would recommend so. Don't eat chupacabras or anything like that. Although technically you could eat one. The starvation diet works well. Yeah, I guess to lose weight. You know what? Coffee, that's not a bad thing. Just in general. That will take years off your life. And I'm assuming you when you say smoking, it wasn't like a pipe or the occasional cigar, it was the cigarettes. I got into arguments with my old man because he'd be like, "Why do you smoke cigars? You know, that's like Fidel Castro." And he just and one day I literally took one of my cigars. I get a nice cigar because you get an ugly one and it's awful. And then I took his cigarettes and I opened the cigarettes and opened my cigar and I was like, that is tobacco leaf. It has been dried and it has been given a flavor. You see, this is leaf. I can look at it and say tobacco. What the hell's in your cigarettes? And I said, you're just so I told him I was being a smartass, told him, this is a drug. It's like crack for you. And then he got pissed. So I got run out of the house that day. I forgot that I didn't live at home at the time, so he basically was like, "Go to your room." I'm like, "Well, my room's not in the apartment, so I'll go to my place." And then my mom calls me. It's like, "Where the hell did you go?" I said, "Dad told me to go to my room. My room is not in your house anymore. I live somewhere else." Like, anyway, it was fun. I love to give him shit sometimes. Important in SIGs for growing boy. Yeah, but so magic. I've been putting the bacon in the Foreman grill and it comes out really crispy, but all the oils come out. And if you want to, I don't know, so a lot of you guys save the bacon grease. That's a great way to collect it because basically you're crisping the bacon and then all the oils roll downhill into that little tray or the trough. And then once it cools, you can collect it and store it however you want. So, two bonuses there. Chupacabra equals food. I had a bacon feast. I still smoke nicotine. I do be. Hey, Lucky, what's going on? Good morning. Lucky, are you going on today? Because I have no idea everyone's schedule's been so screwed up. I have no idea who goes on when anymore. Uh, Hold on, now I lost the chat. Here we go. I'm not even going to post that one from Joe, although it's hilarious because we'll all probably get kicked off. Bacon in the oven. Yeah, that's one thing. I have to do like 4 or 5 slices at a time, and that's a 30-minute, 40-minute endeavor on a Foreman grill. I never thought of making it in the oven. Do you put it on a rack so the oils drip out? Because if so, that would be great. Wolfang, hola, firing up the grill. This is definitely a good day to do it, and it's decent weather in Texas today. Until this afternoon, then we'll get more hail or something. Hey, what's going on, Tennessee Tactical? What you been up to, man? Mm, so let's see. So no, but I may just music island. Yeah, I mean that would be fun. And yeah, and people can chat. That's part of the Sunday. Usually I don't pop in. Today I did, but I'll usually play music and videos and whatnot, and news, and let people kind of drift in and out as they'd like. No cookie sheet, then spatula onto a paper towel. Okay. I wonder if you used those little cooling grids. I don't know what the hell they're called, but there's like a little mesh on legs, and you put that on the cookie sheet and let the bacon drip down. As long as it doesn't go to the bottom, and then you wind up with a fire. So I guess you have to be careful. I'll pry a cigarette off the cold dead hands of a zombie. You know, Daryl, if we have zombies at that point, it's like, what the hell? You know? So yeah, it's a cooling rack, but I've got one that's meant to go in the oven. Um, I guess although you could just use the cooling rack in the oven. Shoot, now I gotta think about that. I'll quit smoking when Joe quits. There you go. Forced diet and exercise. Why torture myself now? That's true. Put more taters and bucket. So Tennessee, I did the bucket potatoes back in Houston because we got prolific rain. Um, I learned a few things. One, I had to, and I got like 20 little potatoes. What's funny, I guess when I put the spuds in, the little starter spuds, I must have gotten the potatoes mixed because I had this random hodgepodge of russets and classic, like the white potato and little red potatoes and purple potatoes, like all sorts of stuff came out. Um, but I did it in a 5 gallon. I didn't even have to water it after the first 2 days because it just rained all the time on the coast. I did need to make drain holes in the bucket. Uh, one of my buckets, I didn't have sufficient drainage and I had problems. So, but yeah, then I take the whole thing, suspend it over the skillet like a cool thingy. Oh, there you go. Oven for bacon. Okay, that's pretty cool. Yeah, wasn't expected though. I was kind of, hey, Canadian, what's going on? Dak Channels, how you doing, bud? Um, is this a cooking show? Like, show me, Abby. No, although it's been a while. I used to do live streams on the weekends where I actually cooked. I did the artisan bread live, and then I had to redo it because Alexandra the Great wanted the recipe. So I redid it in a separate video so she could see me do it. And she made it for her kids and she liked it. Um, God, I'm trying to think of what else I did. The cast iron steaks. I thought I did the seafood, the scallops in a cast iron. And everything I'm using when I cook is my long-term frozen stuff. And then my sides will be like the dehydrated emergency meal type stuff, like the Knorr or the Ready Wise. And I throw that on the side and basically show folks how to make an actual meal as opposed to just like sustenance. But yeah, and there was also at least one live stream where I was about 3 whiskey sours deep before I started the live stream, and that was interesting while I was cooking. So that was fun. But drink more. There you go. Well, this is a good weekend if you're going to have a drink because it's you got a 3 day weekend. Most of us do, not everyone. I'm on call. So if they don't call me, I'll just pretend to not be here. Okay, thank you, my mother Spark. You take care, and I'll be reaching out to a few of you later on that idea I had. So keep an eye out on the emails. But in any case, folks, I'll roll up the. Well, let me see if I can do it the way I thought I was going to do it. Hey now. Okay, so apparently I've offended my computer here. Let's see if I do this right. And oh, oh, that was exciting. That wasn't supposed to do that quite the way it did, but that was pretty cool. Um, so in any case, folks, what I'll do, I will leave you guys to because my I don't even. Let's see. I can't tell. Anyway, I'll leave you guys with some news and then I'll come back here in a little bit. But you guys hang out, drift in and out. Don't forget to throw a like in there. I'm trying to share all the small channels whenever I see them live to try and get everyone's numbers up so we can all do battle with the algorithm together. But dehydrated water for sale. I know. My computer identifies as a Foreman grill, I guess. I don't know. Well, we're working so we don't have to be poor. I grew up throw a throw a leche. Broken news. Yeah. I keep jumping into the chat and I just see this random shit and I'm like, what in God? There's like three different strings of jokes going on all at the same time. Um, yeah, I know. Hey, be good, Shad. You be safe out there. Is a male or female connector? Oh, that's bad. Algorithm. They're throttling the smaller channels. That's the truth. Um, well, they've been dinging some of the big ones too. I think some of the big guys got warnings lately for stuff. And what's funny, it's not stuff that was new that they just ranted about and then they got dinged on it. It's like stuff that was posted a year ago. And it's like, oh, well, you said this word, so therefore. So, yeah, no, for sure. Well, you guys be good. They take 3 subs a month from me. Mine have been doing this. It's been really bizarre. Gender's plugs. See, and they may go back to one of yours and go whack you at some point, and you'll be like, "Well, what the hell?" I see. Actually, in my two of my live streams in the last month, Hudson and MMS were texting me screenshots of my own screen. The chat kept playing the same 4 comments over and over on one screen. The other one, it squished everyone's comments to the bottom. So every time they put a comment, I went into Angry Prepper and then into Prepper Now and tried to comment, and it said error, and it kept giving me an error. And then when it finally let me comment, like the whole chat jumped. I must have jumped 50 comments, and then mine finally showed up, and it was completely out of context. Uh, yeah, most definitely. Yeah, the community and like finding out oddball how-to things like, oh, I need to fix this in my house. Somebody probably put it on YouTube. Okay, so I did that on TikTok, and basically I went after the PRC on TikTok, and I got shadow banned for about a month. And then another creator shared mine and then did the same thing, and they got shadow banned too. So yeah, true. And you got to be careful, and you also have to understand that that's always a possibility. An error has occurred. Hey, Tracy K, how are you? That's funny. I went on the base, went home for the weekends, which sucked, but I'm glad they got to go home. That's the truth. Yeah, it's yeah, a lot of the troops are headed home. But there's a lot of stuff going on. Some people who have served or are in various places where they hear or know things have told me stuff, and I'm like, oh my goodness, I'd love to talk about that, but if I do, I'll get everybody in trouble. But things are happening in the background that really disturb the crap out of me. So I'm still trying to find a public way of saying it that references a public source. So as soon as I do, I'll share that. But yeah, it's definitely an interesting dude. My old channel was deleted because of support him. I believe it. Yeah, and it's yeah, especially if you're catering to the facility. If I'm understanding what you're telling us, you're catering to that facility, and it causes yeah, it's a double-edged sword. On the one hand, they you want them to go home, but on the other hand, you're like, but I got to do my thing too. So yeah, it's tough, and that's the truth. Um, if you see the trends, you kind of have a daggone good idea of things that could happen, even though we don't know exactly what'll happen. It goes back to the Bible, it'll things will be like a thief in the night, but if you're at least paying attention to what's going on, you kind of can see where possible outcomes are, and that kind of helps us make the decisions we do, right? If I'm not preparing for Godzilla, but although hypothetically you could get a Cloverfield monster or Godzilla, whatever, from all the crap we put in the ocean. But besides that point, I can see certain things that will definitely happen. Oh, did you see my comment above? I did not see your comment. Just letting you know. Hold on. The hiding kind. Okay, that's what I was talking about earlier. The hiding comments and another moderator took care of this. That's so freaking weird. And you know what's funny is I'm on StreamYard, but I have the YouTube showing as well so I can follow the chat in case I have to approve something. And Daryl, bigger Daryl, it's Goatzilla. It is Goatzilla. So hey, our treasured home. Yeah, they'll use something as an excuse. If not Coof, they'll find something else. But anyway, folks, I'm going to run the news real quick and then battle my headset because apparently it doesn't want to work. But you guys, don't forget to drop a like. You roll in and out. Green light back to listening mode. Okay. You guys be good. Take care of yourselves. And I'm going to leave it running for a bit and then I'll come back in a few minutes. So you guys take care. I'll be right back. How about now? Can you hear me? Watching women shout out large ladies flinging a ball. What? Canadian? I love coming into the chat and it makes no sense. It's just like then I have to go back. Okay, cool. Yeah, I had to switch headsets to my funky game headset. So somebody asked about the peacekeepers in Chicago. Let me see if I can share this. Share a tab. Can you guys see? I'm going to play it. Let me know if you don't have audio from the tab.
Also at 5, the governor's office is deploying anti-violence workers across Chicago ahead of the holiday weekend, calling them peacekeepers. Governor Pritzker's program is modeled after 2 existing groups in the city.
Our Tara Molina talked to a peacekeeper with one of those groups who's been doing this exact work for years. She's joining us live from outside Millennium Park with new details. And Tara, location sets this new group apart.
Exactly, Joe and Erica. Others doing this work are based within neighborhoods. This new group will be mobile and can work from or respond to areas like this one right downtown. And they're trained to respond to large group incidents we've seen break out here. Police call them large group incidents, and we've already seen them downtown this year ahead of the unofficial kickoff to summer Memorial Weekend. Those incidents behind the fencing and security checkpoints surrounding Millennium Park. Anyone under 18 required to have adult supervision after 6 Thursday through Sunday. And they're an example of one situation Governor J.B. Pritzker's new unit of about 30 people called peacekeepers is fully trained to handle and de-escalate.
They can help stop some of the violence before it even starts.
That's Marcus Mitchell. He's the outreach supervisor here in West Garfield for the Institute for Nonviolence Chicago, and is a peacekeeper for years in partnership with FLIP. Flatlining Violence Inspires Peace.
We want to get in front of things so things won't escalate. We want to stop the shooting before the shooting occurs.
The governor's unit is built off the work Marcus and others are doing every day, entrenched in communities, mediating street conflict in neighborhoods majorly on the south and west sides. He says the governor's group will be doing similar work. The difference is they'll be mobile.
If something big happens downtown or something like that, the group moves downtown in the different areas. Where, as far as our group, we're from these trenches. We're from the neighborhood. So we're more familiar with the neighborhood and we're in it. So that's the difference.
A spokesperson for the state confirming more than 30 peacekeepers are already trained and will be working through the holiday weekend. They'll move throughout the city, with some working the downtown area, ready to move.
Is this something that's needed, a group like this?
Yes, very much so. As the last couple of years, have you seen the groups of kids causing vandalism and stuff like that downtown? So it's very much needed.
The state is funding this unit with COVID money. We learned that $750,000 have been marked for them so far. And we checked in with them today. Will this run through the summer? The answer is yes. Reporting live outside Millennium Park, I'm Tara Molina, CBS 2 News.
Tara, thank you.
Yeah, so funded with cootie funds. Yeah, basically, they're kind of like they're supposed to be trained as de-escalation intervention, like verbally calming people down. Do they need something like that? Yeah, sure, but they've reduced the police force to the point where now crime has gone rampant. It's absolutely insane. And these peacekeepers or mediators, if you will, I do not believe they have any arrest authority. They, well, that's what it is, right? They screwed up, and what happened was they, because of some heavy-handed officers, which probably needed a change in oversight, they cut the police forces, and then they restricted what the cops could do, and the cops left. They basically quit. They went to other careers, or they retired in droves. Some of the bigger cities here in the States probably had about 15-20% take early retirement. They just went, and we're done. And then, So they have these folks on the street. They don't have any. They do wear vests. They wear safety vests, and but yeah, it's the gang violence is very deep rooted. Now, I don't know who vetted them, to be honest with you. Hey, fish sticks, what's going on? It's essentially, and it's not like, oh, they're going to like this is an event, right? They're gonna have a parade, and these people will be there to talk other people down, but they don't have authority. They're not police. They're not trained. Um, it's a bit utopian what they're doing, so it just kind of blows my mind. I think what I'm afraid of, unlike the guardian angels back in old New York City, and actually they're still around, all the guardian angels had to have at least 4 years of a martial art. And back then in the day, it was usually kempo, taekwondo, judo, jujitsu, those old classic before MMA became a big thing. But these guys were martial artists, right? So when they went out in groups of four. And basically, if they saw someone like purse snatch, they'd run the guy down and do a citizen's arrest. Like they had a lawyer brief them exactly what to do. Um, but these folks are not trained. They're trained to speak. If the guy's on crack or he's just inhaled a bunch of bath salts, um, that person is not right, and they don't have the tools to deal with it. And to Lucky's point, they're probably going to get killed. Uh, Actually, Shad, I heard at least one city council member in one of these cities trying this nonsense that they could provide hugs or comfort if needed. Now, again, not to make fun of the fact that some people may just be emotionally distraught and need someone to talk to. It's not that that's a terrible idea, but they cannot replace law enforcement. Okay, I got a guy running around with a baseball bat breaking windows. You're going to send an unarmed civilian with their safety vest and their whistle to talk to, they're going to get cracked in the head. Um, Hell, I've seen video of cops shooting people on some stuff, and the guy goes down, gets back up, and grabs the cop anyway. It's just, and that's a trained individual. So, well, that's right. Hugs are comfort, bad touch. Yeah, no, it's no, and the bath salt zombies don't. And now there's this new stuff on the West Coast that I've been told about by someone in the know in my family. It's oh shit, was it Blue Ocean, Blue Myth, Blue something? It almost sounded like that drug from the movie American Gangster with Denzel Washington, that he called it blue whatever, Blue Angel or something. Uh no, it's like Trank, but Trank knocks him out. Hey Loretta, welcome. I'm glad you made it. No worries. Be safe on the road. Thank you for coming in. No, no, crocodile makes him into literally rot, because there's people don't realize crocodile, aside from whatever methamphetamines in there, it actually has like diesel. Like there's fuel in the shit. So yeah, I don't know. But no, it's like a trank, but it's this stuff doesn't put them to sleep. This stuff makes them batshit. Like it's almost like angel dust or LSD, where they just start seeing stuff, but they're not tripping. They're not like, oh, look at the fairies. No, they're like, they see the fairies and then they flip out and become really ugly. And I know they're on the West Coast. They're both cops and MPs have told me that they're seeing this stuff around the bases, and they're having to deal with that. And that's kind of, yeah, that's kind of scary stuff. So in any case, yeah, that was Chicago's solution, is to put these volunteers. I think they're setting these people up to get hurt. Now, if you have a good police presence and then you introduce the volunteers to supplement law enforcement so that the cop doesn't have to arrest the person, if they can bring them back down and they get them, an ambulance or something, that may be great. But wait, what? Yes. that the cops, he was literally biting other people and trying to bite them, bite their faces or whatever. I remember that. No, and what's worse with those vests, it's not like they're blending in. They're doing the opposite of gray man. They're being yellow person and they're going into people who are already agitated. It's only going to be a matter of time. One of them's going to get hurt. Um, hey, Moonsprout, hello. They have a zombie that makes your skin fall off you. There's that too. There's crazy going on, and I've been getting told about the serial killer in Austin. It's just so much weird. It's like, what are we doing, people? They're like almost creating. All right, be safe, Loretta. Travel safe. Yeah, they don't want to arrest anyone because it hurts their feelings, but what about the rest of us? That's my problem. All right, well, Fang, you be safe. Have a blessed day, man. Oh, that's not good. Well, Serbia and not Azerbaijan, Bosnia with the Azeris. Something's going on near Serbia, and apparently ethnic Serbs in the other country are being treated very heavy-handedly. So Serbia is now moving troops to the border with that country. And now you have, for instance, like he just pointed out, Iranian and Taliban are fighting. Um, then Iran just threatened to bomb Israel. So Israel said, "We'll nuke your capital if you do that." So yeah, there's being somewhere footage show the woke safety. Yes, there is. There is. I did show a video. Um, there were two guys just punching it out in the street, and they were just standing there. And it wasn't like they were on a radio. They were just standing there with their hands in their pockets. I'm like, why are you even out here? I could at least say, well, if it tried to intervene, they told you to go away, and then they were fighting, you can at least get on the radio and call a cop and say, like, hey, we tried to talk to these guys. Now they're punching each other. But yeah, they weren't. They were just standing there with their hands in their pockets. Yeah, that stuff is terrible, man. Um, hold on. Okay, yeah. I have uh family in Austin, and they're telling me most of these people are disappearing from the clubs downtown. If you've never been to Austin, there's a kind of like a river. I can't remember if it's the Colorado or the Kamal. I just blanked out. Anyway, there's a river runs through downtown. Downtown's built around it, and part of the area is a bunch of bars and restaurants and clubs. And we're talking the nightclub scene. So what, 21 to maybe mid 30s is typically the demographic there, because a lot of the older crowd have families, so they're going to go somewhere else. Uh, but that younger club crowd, and they found what is it, 12, 13 people, both men and women, and all of them were last seen at one of those clubs. So whoever it is mixing in, and 6th Street. There's 6, there's 7th, and then there's that street that is a 90-degree. Lucky, maybe you can help me out. But yeah, it was pretty yeah, no kidding. But yeah, it's oh, there it is, Rainy Street. Thank you. Yeah, but there's been a bunch pulled out in the last, well, since the coof, since Rona, and then they reopened everything, and it seems to have accelerated. Like God, they found what, half a dozen in less than a year. something like that. It's just really, yeah. I had a link. Let me see if I can find this video because that's weird, but it's happening in different places too. Let me see if I can find something that's actually helpful. I can't find a good one. Oh shoot. There's a bunch. Oh, here we go. Let me see if I can share this one real quick, guys. Let me know if you can hear this. Yeah, so yeah, there's lots of weirdness, and this isn't the only city. It's just it seems like the cities are absolutely going down the toilet. Now I want Captain Crunch. You know, he said that, and I was like, bowl of cereal would be good. That would actually be yummy. Well, yeah, because if they do that, who's going to go to the clubs? There goes your city revenue, and ta-da! Yeah, they won't admit to that. But well, in any case, folks, I'm gonna wrap this one up. I'm gonna put some videos on, just let them run. But look, you guys be safe. I'll be in and out over the next 20 minutes or so. But you guys be careful out there, and I'm gonna play a few more videos while you guys. I'm gonna run an errand here real quick in the house. I'll let you guys kind of hang out in the chat. So I'll be back.